it's exponential from there. Now, concrete takes like a month to cure, and at a month, it's 90% cured, and then it takes the last 10% another 20 or 30 years.
Wow.
Cure. As moisture just leaves it, just gets harder and harder and harder. So if you look at like my house was built in 1930, it's 1 inch of stucco, which is basically concrete, and it's just like it's as hard as granite. It's rock hard. Versus a house I just did this year, you can scratch it with your fingernail.
So much to know about anyone.
There's so much to know about this stuff, and for as much as I've done in the years I've been doing it, it's
Still learning.
because mainly I went from being a pretty accomplished finish carpenter, doors, windows, and then went into curved staircases, then curved staircases, into contracting. And then that's pretty much all my concrete experience is like get a concrete sub, have it bid, understand concrete. I've watched more than one pour, but never had to tie steel.
Yeah.
I mean, other than a couple of small things. So
you can't be a specialist in everything.
no, you can't. But we got a really good guy here last week. You were here, right?
Yeah.
Last week,
No, yeah,
Robert
he
was
was
just
great.
unbelievable.
So is this
Jim.
gentleman in the blue?
Jim
he
is
a
my
specialist?
he's my colleague in the CT department, so he's
okay.
an instructor also.
Okay, got it.
And he's got a way more experience than I do in terms of hands-on, frame and concrete stuff.
So when you had the concrete delivered this morning, did you call them and specify the wetness based on what you knew was happening here? Or do they look at the
well,
weather?
they do too, yeah. But I did specify I wanted a dry mix, I wanted a 5-sack mix. I wanted her at X time, I wanted X amount based on the my calculations of the volume and more, because I figure we'll take more. These footing holes were pretty hard to really suss out because they were different depths. I think we got plenty of concrete. I always want to have a little more concrete than less, because you can never have too little concrete. You're done. It's a big problem. I mean, basically what you got to do is you got to build a form initially and finish one part and then have a cold joint for the last if you run out of concrete.
And then will it ever seamlessly adhere or not really?
No, it's a cold joint, and it'll
Might be cracking. It might crack there first.
could crack. It'll do something independent, because concrete does crack. And we've got a good mat in this, good steel. I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't crack.
What's he doing? Is he trying to get it
He's
under
pulling
up the mat?
Pulling up the mat to make sure it's not down on the bottom.
Got it. On the sand.
On the sand.
Got it. Probably smart after doing the wheelbarrow over the top.
Yep. Yeah, ideally, I should have probably just had this thing pumped. I don't know. I'm just so used to being so frugal with everything that I do.
Like had the truck dump. Well, I don't know how it would
Yeah,
get in
well,
here.
he just parked over there, and we'd have a pump right next to him, and the pump would have a 6-inch rubber hose, lengths of it
the whole
going to
thing
here,
there.
and then we would he would just shoot into the pump, and then we just place on the pump.
That's good to
This
learn
way,
which is probably what more
people would do if you were going to do a backyard slab patio, if you were going to do DIY stuff, or just understanding concrete. The wheelbarrowing of it it's a pretty good way to go.
Yeah, and you can't always get a truck back to a
Correct.
area.
Correct.
So
And typically you can pump virtually anywhere. They even have boom pumps. You can go over houses. These giant, almost like cranes. Yeah, they can go like 150, 200, 250 feet to pump. Yeah, and in retrospect, because my hindsight is 20/20,
like everybody.
I would have pumped this in a minute. I thought for sure we were going to be able to get him in here and shoot the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just have it come rumbling down the chute,
So
stop,
he didn't
another
bring
chute.
his pump. That's the thing.
No,
That's
I would have had to request a pump. It's a whole separate company.
Separate thing. Oh, separate company.
Yeah, so they contract with them and they bill us.
Okay.
But
So they'd come with their own machine and they hook it up to that.
Yeah, and they're here, and the guy rolls up and just goes into the pump and.
So as the contractor, you need to order both of those and coordinate them, or they will do it?
Well, they'll ask you. They won't send a pump unless you ask for one.
Got it.
So when you order the concrete, you have to order a pump as well. Like I said, I just wish I had done a
Well,
pump.
no, this is good. More hands-on.
It is.
For people to learn.
It is.
So,
There's way more hands-on. You get a sense of how how many people it really does take. Change what now? Let's just change something. Something's happening here. Something's not good. I think I'm running out of battery. Let's see. Oh yeah, battery is dead. So